Another breakdown coming along. This one is definitely more performance based, but I also meant to mention in my first breakdown that the red half cab Toyota is probably my best performing build right now, but it also helps that it doesn't have a bed. One of these days I'm going to take all my builds out with no bodies on and just see which one performs the best. But right now we're going to focus on the long boy Ford. This build overall is about a 165mm wheelbase. It's a long boy. This body is from Nacho Crawlers. If you just Google Nacho Crawlers, I'm sure you'll find his website. Kinda hard to get his bodies. They sell out pretty quick. But I love this body. It's one of my favorites. For wheels and tires, they have ruptures. These wheels are the Injora 1.0 Madu wheels. And these are Milk Tea RC on Etsy. These are his wheel faces. Usually they're flipped around, but usually the hubs are flipped around, but I don't like running lots of offset on my performance crawlers. So you can kind of see in the rear here how deep that is. But he makes awesome wheel faces. I love these wheels. The locking hub is from Little Guy Racing Parts. These are great. Love those little things. These decals are actually for Lexan. They're like a masking for Lexan. But I just put them on this body. Spider webs. RC Plate Shop. The chainsaw is from a guy who prints stuff that sells on Amen Hobbies. The sledge is from GSR RC. Not sure where this stuff came from. I've had that little box forever. I don't remember where it came from. Now this build is definitely a little more complicated, and a lot more custom. But again, we have a Maz Designs cheat code. This is the XL length. Torque servo. Really like these servos. They're decently cheap. I think this one was like $30, and this thing is powerful, man. I really like them. I wish it wasn't red, but that's okay. Up front we got a Mias ISO metal version, the older metal version. These brass hexes are just something I started doing just to get a little more weight up front, and it works. It adds a few grams. and these actually rotate, so there's no friction. Shocks, 39mm Injora. Pretty much a lot of my go-to shocks. In the back we have these long boy 50 something millimeter Proline. These are good shocks too. The rear housing, so this is from Acres Engineering, and it's just a 3D printed housing, and it has Mias ISO guts in it, so it's a lot lighter than like your standard Mias aluminum. It's the same exact thing, it's just in a printed housing. And what's cool about these housings is where the drive shaft comes out is actually up higher, and then the pumpkin is a lot smaller and it's higher up, almost like a portal. So these housings are sweet. You gotta kind of be careful with them. They do kind of break easy. This one's broken all over the place, but somehow it still hangs on. Electronics, we got Furrytech Python Pro. We have the big old cedar motor from Furrytech, which I took a brushed Injora motor mount, kind of hard to show, but I actually drilled it out a little bit and made it so I could mount the cedar forward facing on that mount, which keeps it super low. Worked out really good. These are just standoffs you can get on Amazon. I think they're M2 standoffs. And that's just a Injora transmission. This is something I've been playing around with. Stuck a bunch of tungsten putty on the backside of the axle just to add some weight, because this thing's so long. You need quite a bit of front weight on it. I don't know if it really helps. I've just been playing around with it. We have a custom cut Injora front drive shaft, metal stainless. These front links, I wanted a deadbolt style link, short link up front on these, but I also wanted to be able to make this motor fit facing forward, so I couldn't use deadbolt length. So I kind of just have piles of links, old links. So these lower ones are 50mm, and then these upper ones I think are about 35mm, which on a deadbolt length, the lowers I think are 42mm. So overall I'm about 8mm longer than a deadbolt, but it still keeps that nice deadbolt style angle to the skid. See how it's just a straight line, which is what I was going for. This motor does hit this link right here, so I kind of drilled it out a little bit, but my shocks can still compress almost all the way, so I'm happy with that. Mofo RC servo horn. The rear links on these are from Tyler Chapman at 828 on Instagram. Same thing, these are Gladiator length that I extended to be 90 millimeters. And then we just have, I'm not sure how long the outboards are, but they're aluminum as well. Then we have stock drive shaft in the rear. This one I glued and taped so my rear axle shaft, because this is such a long run, I didn't want it to sag down. So it's just one solid piece coming off of there. And it makes it so it stays up high like that. And it doesn't sag down below the links. And then we have a ramp crab drive shaft extender back there. And that's also because it's one solid piece and it helps it get that upward angle and stay that way. This truck it's awesome to crawl. It's long, so it can do some gnarly lines. It's got a lot of front weight, so it can grab and hold and climb up. This is a super fun truck. It really takes some getting used to when you start crawling a long truck like this, because you got to look at lines a lot differently. Things you don't think you can do, you suddenly can do. But yeah, this is a pretty involved and and custom build. And for anyone wondering, these cedar motors are awesome. I love this motor. You can cram it in anywhere. You don't have to worry about the motor spinning and rubbing, and because it's all encased in there. The motor's spinning, but it's inside. So you can just shove it anywhere you want. It's great. Another thing I like to do is I put a ton of caster, ton of backward tilt on that servo. Well, on the whole front axle really. And that makes it so you can really lay that front tire over. Get even more steering. It also helps with clearing your shocks with your tire. Because if this axle was straight up and down, well, it might not hit it, but it might. But it definitely helps clearing your shocks if you have your shocks back here at more of an angle. B. Cockner on YouTube. If you have not checked out and watched him do SCX24 builds on YouTube, go check him out. I've learned so much from that guy. I love his videos. I also think that caster really helps when you're trying to get up and over something. It really helps your tires grab. See how they're leaned back? They're leaned back this way. It really helps grab and pull the rest of your body up. You can't always get away with that much caster on a lot of builds. If you try, it can cause other problems, drive shaft problems, clearance problems with your motor. But it is nice to have. Again, I have Sticky Wheels RC, customizable printed inserts. My inserts are on all my 63mm J Concepts. I run 8 ribs, dual stage, and these inserts, I'm telling you, man, they are awesome. I will never use anything else. $25. He ships them usually in like a 1 to 3 days. Awesome dude. Check him out. And then in the rear, I usually always run aluminum rings inside with foam. Keep that wheel as light as possible. And yeah, I just have Maz Design magnet mounts front and back. I love these mounts. Another reason why Maz is so awesome, these mounts are the best. Hands down, the best. Yeah, that's about it on this guy. These Nacho crawler bodies are super light. One reason I like them so much, they're incredibly light and incredibly durable. When I first got one of these bodies, I was like, oh man, this thing's gonna break in a matter of days. But I have trashed this body, and it has stayed in one piece the whole time. I mean, this thing has taken some gnarly falls, and body just stays right together. The front lenses here, I just use Lexan, a sheet of Lexan that I cut and kind of shaped. They used to look a lot better. They're kind of destroyed nowadays. But yeah, I highly suggest anyone, if you don't have a long wheelbase build, man, they are a blast to crawl. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.